Hello and welcome back to another episode of Around the Pitch alongside Taci Batista and Francesco Porzio. I'm Aaron
Hello.
Burnell. Wow, this World Cup has been a fantastic World Cup. We are now finally down to the last two. Did either of you see that these would be the final two standing ahead of the final?
Well, I'm not shocked by one of them. Let's say like this. I'll be leading, like little notes to here. But again, of course, Argentina. I was just talking to Francesco before we start recording. Like we knew that Messi was going to show up to the team every opportunity he has. Questionable how they got to the semifinal. They did a much better job yesterday than they did before the other matches for sure. Spain was a surprise. I really thought France was going to make it to the final.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Spain, I was sure they were going to be one of the contenders. It's something I always said. I kept my position despite, maybe not a perfect start for them, while France looked much better in the first part of the
Mhm.
tournament. But the fact that they didn't concede, they only conceded one goal in 7 games was impressive. And I think that's something that at the end of a tournament, it's important. I remember
Uh-huh.
Italy in 2006. We won the World Cup with just, I think, one goal conceded in the World Tournament, a part of the penalty scored by Zinedine Zidane in the final. So, and it was an own goal against United States in the second game of the group. So, it's very important to not concede. On the other hand, we have a completely different team that got to the final because they conceded 7 goals in 7 games. But
Yes.
Argentina, they have the best player in the world for sure right now, and a player that is making the difference because even yesterday the game was over, but Argentina tried. By the end of the day, it was Messi delivering 2 assists to Enzo Fernandez and Lautaro Martinez. So I think right now we have this incredible, exciting final between uh, the greatest player in the last 2 decades and what potentially can be the greatest player in the next 2 decades. And
Uh-huh.
that's like a change of testimony that can really happen on the pitch on Sunday. That's really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I go back to the photo of Messi when Lamine Yamal was a child.
Yeah.
It's like crazy foreshadowing to think now that these two will meet in a World Cup final. It's truly exciting. I personally, I knew obviously the final four teams would be the final four that I kind of expected those four. I was complete. I was 0 for 2 in my semifinal predictions. I thought that we would be seeing a France England final.
Mm.
Obviously, France had looked very good throughout the entire tournament. And against Spain, I mean, Spain did what they've done to everyone. They make it uncomfortable. They keep you off the ball for long periods of time. And I think the thing that surprised me the most about that match was I think some of the French body language when they were down. I kind of expected to see them rallying a bit more, and I think probably by maybe about like I want to say like the 50th or 60th minute, I kind of was seeing some players heads down a bit, and I was a bit surprised by some of that reaction. But in the other semifinal, England Argentina, the thing that surprised me the most was after seeing England go to the Azteca and beat Mexico. I thought, okay, they went to the toughest venue, playing one of the host nations. It's the hardest place to play in this region by far. And I thought that that team had the makings of a team that might not win pretty, but they can get there.
Mhm.
But I think that they retreated into their shell a bit too early against Argentina. You can't sit go through wave after wave of attack against Argentina, and obviously there's so much. The match means so much to both sides, especially obviously the Argentina players with the history between these two countries. So it was, I mean, a fantastic match to watch. Absolutely fantastic. I think as fans, we've been spoiled. I don't want this World Cup to end. It's been, a
True.
fantastic tournament,
It really
but yeah,
has.
it has.
It's tough to see, like, and I feel like even Kane, right? Like, to see his disappointment after he worked so hard to get to the final, like to the semifinal.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot of people are kind of referencing this one video of Jude and Messi talking, and Messi's kind of reaction. That the old "don't poke the bear," saying, I don't know what was said, but hopefully, the lip readers will be able to translate.
Yeah, I
What.
think I think Bellingham clarified after the game. He said that they were talking about a previous foul that he was
Uh-huh.
complaining about, and he told it to Messi, and Messi didn't know what he talking about. Basically, that's you can see the reaction that makes sense now that he said that. On the other side, I totally agree with you. I think that's what you shouldn't do to a player like Leo Messi. And Leo Messi has been the player of the tournament, and that's a big. I know it sounds strange, but he is the biggest surprise of the tournament, because we were all expecting this to be uh, the
His
World
last.
Cup of Lamine
Oh,
Yamal or other Vinicius or other players. He wasn't, because Lamine Yamal, yes, he will play the final. Yes, he might potentially win the tournament and maybe score. I don't know. It might be the best player on the pitch on Sunday, but he wasn't the best player so far.
No.
So I think Messi has been really the biggest surprise and inspiration for all of us in this World Cup.
he was very consistent in every match, right? Like he ran a lot, he helped. He's always assisting, he's always supporting. But I feel like the biggest difference in Messi is not even like, of course, his skills, because we can't contest that. Like he's absolutely fantastic, right? Like he's dangerous every time he touches the ball. He gets creative, like he finds a way to get the ball near the goal. But the problem is like I feel the biggest strength they have is like his leadership, right? That safe net. Like all the players look up to him like a god, right? Like if Messi's in the field, like we could, and you can. He makes a difference every play. And that just shows him, like yesterday he ran over 5 miles, is the most he ever ran in any other match, even with the ones that went after time, like, with overtime. And he was there to prove, like he wanted to get the team to the final. And the players, seeing his dedication, fought with him, right? Like, and try. And that's what you said. Like they were too, like, they just kind of like watching England's play. They did like much better first half, but the second half when they came back, it was a completely different team. They let Argentina take over, and when you leave them, like let them take over at one time, that ball's gonna go in. In the minute the first ball goes in, that's it. Then they love the game, and they keep coming until they score the second, the third. And Messi makes a difference anywhere he goes, but the players feeling his presence and his leadership just change any game every time.
Absolutely. One thing that's been impressive as well is the Argentine support in every one of their matches. When you look in the stadium, you see that Albi Celeste. You see the kids. It's everywhere. And even I was seeing videos of people who were at the match in Atlanta yesterday, and and it's just, I mean, the English have obviously a phenomenal support as well, but there were moments where
Not comparable.
It's not
No.
exactly. It's not comparable
No,
at all.
it's another thing.
That match might have well been played in Buenos Aires versus Atlanta. You wouldn't have necessarily been able to tell the difference because of the amount of support that Argentina had in the match. But yeah, I mean,
no, go ahead.
no,
Finish up.
good. Yeah, I was
No,
just
I
saying
was
it's
gonna
phenomenal.
Even in if you compare Argentina, like the team, like the fan base, even in South America, right? Like for many years, Brazil had like that wonderful support, like that, like the crowd here was really fun to watch. Of course, the Brazilians, but like the dedication and the faith that the Argentines have in the team, it can be like even South America. And actually, it was really interesting to see that Brazilians have like bars that so many people are actually rooting for Messi. And it was like, that was never acceptable for many years. And now because of Messi, we've seen this change, right? Like the younger generation, like I say about my nephew, he's like 19 years old. He's like literally rooting for Argentina. And like most of his generation, like friends are rooting for Argentina and Brazil. And if you talk to an older person in Brazil, they want to kill them. Like, what? What are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't root for Argentina. But it's a change. It's changed.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger topic, and maybe we don't have the time here to discuss it, but it's about the new generations are player oriented and not anymore club
Mm-hmm.
oriented or nations wise oriented. Yeah, a bit more, but they. I was working with La Liga a few years back, and I mean not working for them, but working with them for a project, and they were talking about this fact that uh, play fans around the world don't care where Cristiano Ronaldo, Leo Messi, or Lamine Yamal or Vinicius play. They just follow the player. So they become Paris Saint-Germain fan if Mbappé goes to Paris Saint-Germain. They become Real Madrid fans if Mbappé joins Real Madrid. So they're really much more player-oriented. That's something really unusual. Maybe it's, I don't know if you tell me if in America works this way with basketball, for example. I don't know if you have like LeBron James fans. Maybe they root for we'll see who in the next days. But that's, of course, you have the older generations. There are the basics, of the fan bases, but at the end of the day, the new ones are evolving and changing a lot of this kind of uh, uh, relation between players and fans.
Yes, it's
Uh,
definitely something. It's funny because I think of all of the major sports here in the United States, I think basketball is the best example of this, where people are fans, as you mentioned, of LeBron James, and they'll go and follow him for 5 teams. All of a sudden you've got, in your closet, you've got, Cleveland, and you've got Miami, and you've got Los
uh,
Angeles, jerseys. But it's as I guess, the older generation, it's a bizarre thing, Tassi, as you mentioned, to see, like, oh, you would support just this player everywhere they go, especially when players change clubs that are not necessarily, clubs that have, you know, they're not necessarily, things that you would see in the past. So it's
yeah,
definitely an interesting one.
yeah,
But I guess it's just part of the changing, I think, overall changing sports culture globally, is that people are, because of social media, you know these players before they become stars. You watch their journey as they, rise to the peaks of their careers, and then you feel attached to that person, less so the club. But yeah,
yeah.
personally, I'm a one club guy. I think I feel like that is the better way to go in this. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Would love to get your predictions ahead of the final, and see what you all think. Who will be our new world champions, or continuing on as world champions, and then also predictions for the third place match.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Francesco.
I'm going with France winning the third place final, because I don't know. I have the feeling that even if the motivations, I think we shouldn't have the third place final anymore. That's
Mhm.
Sure.
really it doesn't make sense anymore. Like, players will get. I mean, will try not to get injured more than anything, more than scoring goals. The
Mhm.
only thing is Mbappe will try to score more, so he can potentially win the golden boot of the and
Mhm.
break the record of Leo Messi. So maybe that's the only interesting thing we have to watch the final. And then
Mhm.
for the real final, my head says Spain because of what I said before and what makes sense. My heart says Argentina. So I'm going with Argentina because it's by heart here when it comes to the finals. But uh, logically speaking, it will be Spain because they've been the better team of the whole tournament.
Mhm.
Wow, I think as it's not very hard to guess that I'm like definitely rooting for Spain. but, but like with my heart, right? Like as Francesco said, like but as Brazilian, we always rooting for, anything against like Argentina, even though we know that Messi can absolutely win that match, no problem. But again, not only for that, but as like Francesco said, the defense has been amazing. They had enough like to go and they've been passing the ball. Like we expect like the Barcelona base that they touch the ball, like they all touching the ball like Allah and keeping control. And with that, when they create opportunity, they score. So I really think like that was Spain could have like, the chance to be the winner, like if VAR does interfere and all the weird stuff going on. But hopefully they will beat Argentina just because they're stronger as a team both offensively and defensively. Like, right, they have like good and they have like a good goalkeeper as well.
Mhm.
But for third place, yes, I think like France like shouldn't have a problem. Like, but again, it's being really weird because they have that trio that Brazil had so many years ago with Elise, like Dembele. And like it was so fun and Mbappe to watch them playing together. And you think like if they just had a little better defense, that could keep the results right, like against a stronger team, and that's where they feel like they feel like. But hopefully against England, let's see if they can, have like one last dance during the World Cup, like see them play well together and have fun to watch. But yeah, that's my guess.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Similarly, I would like to see France win the third place match. But I think with it being Didier Deschamps' last match as national team manager, I think the players will take it quite seriously. But I do hope I actually hope both managers rotate their squads a little bit. Similar to you, Francesco, I think that the time for the third place match has passed. I think once upon a time it was fun to watch, but nowadays with players playing so many matches, it's just one more match. So in that sense, I want to see a bit of a rotation. Some of the players who didn't get an opportunity to play in the tournament get that opportunity. And at the end of the day, for the French, it's like most of that, a lot of that squad have won the World Cup already.
Mhm.
So it's like to finish third place. Obviously, you want to finish as high as possible, but they ultimately fell short, and they know that they fell short. And then for the final, I I think I'm with you all. I'm going to go with Spain in this final. I think that they've really surprised me. I know that they're talented. You know, as surprising as it is to say a top 4 side have reached the World Cup final. But I just think that in terms of like for even their own standards, like Lamine has not had the best tournament. I thought in order for them to
Yeah.
make the final, I thought Lamine needed to have, you know, this breakout tournament. And they've proved that, you know, they are a great unit as a whole. I've been really surprised with Enzo Fernandez from Argentina. I think at the club level this season, he hasn't really looked so sharp, but when he puts on that jersey for Argentina, he's a different Enzo Fernandez. He's been a difference maker and able to step up as well. Obviously, all the plaudits should go to Messi, but I think Enzo also deserves a bit of credit as well. Scored the equalizer, you know, scored the winner in the previous round as well. So this Argentina team, they just don't know when to quit. I do have to
Mhm.
respect that, even if I don't necessarily like them.
I know.
but
Same here.
yeah, we will see. It's been an interesting tournament. If this tournament could go on forever, I would be a very happy man.
I know.
Um,
I was gonna joke about the third place that like I've seen jokes online like and it's been like if they had to give the third place to anyone, they should automatically leave to Vozinha because it was the only team Cape Verde that stopped that
yeah,
didn't score they didn't lose to
yeah,
Argentina or Spain and they were making fun saying that was actually the only team and they did an amazing tournament. So again, honor mentions to them because what a
yeah.
surprise was to watch Cape Verde make like as far and other teams too. And Egypt, like we don't have time to talk about all the teams and the matches that we can cover, but what a
Mhm.
strong run they had. And I wish they could have stayed longer.
Yeah, I think I think that they will make a movie one day about this Cabo Verde team, and I think whoever wins the final, on Sunday, I think it just makes their story that much better because they took both of they pushed both of these teams to their limits, and for such a small nation, it was truly great to see. But we
Oh,
have
yes.
hopefully an amazing final ahead of us on Sunday. We will see if all 3 of us are right or if
All
not.
wrong.
Yeah, well, we're wrong.
We're all
I've been wrong
completely
quite a
wrong.
bit with my predictions in this tournament, so we shall see if
Um,
that continues.
I know. I joked about like every single team I rooted for, they kept losing. So I was like, maybe it's
Yes.
me, maybe Speed. Like he's also wearing the same jerseys that I'm rooting for. So maybe it's both of us or just him. We'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
Sunday what happens.
we shall see on Sunday. This has been another great episode of Around the Pitch. We appreciate you all. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.